Hey guys, it's Courtney. I'm here with a pretty quick video today, just sharing some of my money saving tips in the craft room, some alternatives that you can use, or use maybe some of the supplies that you have for multiple things. So we're going to start off with the foam tape. Now, I've always used the Scotch foam tape, which I still love, but I have recently discovered this foam tape. I believe it's pronounced Xfasten. And I have found it on Amazon, and I actually found it as a recommendation through a post on Stamp Junkies on Facebook. So it is significantly cheaper than the Scotch foam tape, but it is also very sticky. So you'll see that I have two pairs of scissors that I constantly bring out. One is for my regular cutting and one is specifically for foam tape because after a while you will get a little bit of a residue. It is slightly thinner as far as the width goes, but otherwise it's pretty comparable to the Scotch foam tape, except for the price. So over on Amazon, the Scotch foam tape is $32.99 for 36 yards. And for the Xfasten foam tape, it is $11.19 for the same amount. So it's like a third of the price. So next we're going to move on to a chamois. Here's my dirty chamois, and it's not even wet. It's pretty dried out right now. But instead of using the stamped chamois that Lawn, Fawn, and Gina K have, although they're wonderful, I have discovered these over on Amazon as well. They are actually for your car. They come in a roll, and you can see that I'm just about out, but I typically just cut it where it's folded. So I normally get 8 of them, or 8 of the size that I cut them down to, out of each one of these rolls. They are a little bit damp while they're in the packaging, so I always keep the top on them, but they're not soaking wet, but they're really super easy to cut. So like I said, you will get 8 of them provided that you cut them in equal sizes like I do. And they are, again, significantly cheaper than the stamp chamois itself. So the stamp chamois over on Simon Says Stamp for the Lawn Fawn one is $7.99 for one. For these chamois, you will get a total of 8, and it's $9.06 on Amazon. Big difference. Next, we're going to move on to a craft mat. This looks very much like a Ranger craft mat, the traditional craft mat that if any of you have been crafting for more than a couple of years, you will recognize this. So this is not actually a Ranger craft mat, although it looks exactly the same. It's actually a baking sheet that comes in a 5-pack over on Amazon, rolls up nicely for storage, works identically to the craft mat itself. Very easy to clean, perfect for watercolor techniques and ink techniques, and like I said, very easy to clean. Difference is, once again, the price. So the Ranger craft mat ranges from anywhere from $14 to $18, while this mat, you get 5 in a pack, and it's $8.69 for 5 of them on Amazon. So next we're going to move on to just a little bit of a hack. So you can see that I have a self-healing cutting mat here that I have cut down, and I just used a regular box cutter for this. I'm sure there's probably a different kind of tool that you should use, but that's all I got. So I cut it to the same size as the cutting mat for my Gemini, and this will work for any die cutting machine. You'll just want to pay attention to the thickness. So if it's not quite as thick as your cutting mat, you may have to add a shim, which I do for my Gemini. So I'm going to use this as my base plate. I'm going to die cut everything the same exact way, but you can see that I am using this metal shim that I don't typically use, but I used for this just because the cutting mat is a little bit thinner than the cutting mat for the Gemini, but you can see I get perfect results. It is a self-healing mat, so it doesn't matter how many times you cut it, it's going to self-heal. So whatever cutting mat you have, once they get dirty or stained or whatever and you don't want to use them anymore, cut them down and use them for your die cutting machine. So here is my Tombow Mono Multi Glue. If you have ever watched any of my videos, you'll see that this is my favorite adhesive for everything. It is cheap and I can use it for multiple things. Not only is it my regular adhesive for, gluing my panels to my card base, but it's also repositionable. So I'm going to use this on my little mat here that I have created for my Misty. I just printed this off from the internet on a piece of cardstock. Going to squirt a little bit of this Tombow Mono Multi Glue and smear it around with my finger. Let it dry for just a couple of minutes and it becomes repositionable. So I'm going to lay my card panel down there, line my little stamp up and stamp this. And normally the stamp would kind of move around your paper a little bit if you had to stamp this more than once. But you can see once I lift up the MISTI lid, it stays perfectly in place because of that repositionable adhesive underneath it. And I can use this over and over. So the Tombow Monomulti glue, super cheap, and it can be used for just about everything. It's permanent and it's repositionable. $4.69 on Simon Says Stamp and $5.99 on Amazon. So next we're going to talk about the Scan and Cut. I have the Scan and Cut too because I don't feel like it's necessary to get the latest and greatest of everything that's out there. I use mine just to scan and cut in replacement of die cuts. Die cuts are very expensive, and sometimes you like your coordinating dies with your stamp sets, but we can't always afford them. So although this machine is very expensive, it pays for itself in the long run. The mats, however, are also very expensive and really not all that sticky. So here I'm using my mat here, and typically I would clean this off with just a sponge and some water to get all of the cat hair that's still stuck on there and any residue that I have from paper, but I didn't do that this time. I just need to add a little bit of stick. So I'm using this two-way glue by Zig, and you can see that it comes out blue. It's kind of like one of those paint pens where you have to dab it onto a scratch piece of paper so that the glue starts coming out. You can see that I shook it. Don't shake it. You don't need to shake it or else you're going to splatter it all over like I did. But once it dries, it will become clear. So you will know when it's dry, when it's no longer blue, and it becomes repositionable. It's perfect for the Scan and Cut mats. It also works well for the Cricut mats. I don't know about the other mats because I don't have any other machines from that other than those two, but they work great for both, and it'll save you a ton of money on your mats. So let's talk about price of all three of these things. Obviously, the machine is the most expensive. The latest and greatest Scan and Cut is like $400, but the Scan and Cut 2 is $289.95 on Amazon. The mats are $13 a piece. However, the Zig Two Way Glue is $6.48, and you could probably restick your mat about 20 times. So definitely worth it. Here I just wanted to talk about my three main tools that I need in my craft room that are very inexpensive. First is the white gel pen. Not only is this great for adding details to your coloring and to your images, but it's great for fixing mistakes. So this will save you time and save your cards. You can just kind of go over any smudges with your white gel pen and fix them right up. Same thing with the sand eraser. This will take off any ink smudges if you have a fingerprint or something like that. This will take that right up. Same thing, or almost the same thing, for the adhesive eraser, which will, if any of your glue kind of seeps out the side of your die cuts or the side of your panels, let it dry, rub that up with the adhesive eraser. It may take a few times, but you'll get that stickiness, so that residue off of your projects. So these are three very inexpensive tools that will save your cards. The sand eraser, all of these prices are on Amazon. Sand eraser is $2.89. Adhesive eraser is $2.29. And the white gel pens I typically buy in a 3-pack because I use them all the time, and they are $6 for 3 of them. So I hope this video was a little bit helpful for you guys to use what you have or save as much money as you can so that we can spend it all on stamps and Copics. Thanks so much for stopping by, guys. Have a great day. Bye.